Hello internet users, I'm Ryan and this is the third video in the series on how to control and manage your emotions, which I think is the most important thing in social skills. Second is quick thinking. I've been through in the first two videos what to do when it comes to future potential events and how to manage planning and overthinking. Obviously most people tend to do way too much of the overthinking side. Here I'm going to go through actual events that happen, because obviously a future event that you predict might happen, like am I going to have this bad thing happen to me, am I going to lose my job, is my plane going to crash, whatever. These haven't actually happened, so it's how to deal with things that are actually happening. And I'm going to go through in this first video social things, and then I'm going to go through things that don't involve other people, because I think that managing your emotions by yourself is definitely still social skills, because the way that you deal with your emotions generally has a massive impact, whether indirectly or directly, when you are with people. So number one is your immediate response. So as usual, I apologise for my handwriting. My handwriting has been bad all of my life, but as long as you have ears, you'll know what it says by the end, because I'm going to go through it all. Sorry if anyone doesn't have ears. So don't immediately respond with negative emotions and assume there's a good reason for why this bad thing is happening. So something happens that triggers you immediately and you feel annoyed, usually annoyed, or some other kind of negative emotion. Could range from someone knocking something over, saying something that you don't agree with or offends you, or someone stealing your shiny Pokemon cards, which in school would have been the worst one by far. So unless you've got some kind of immediate physical danger or huge social consequence, it's always worth, or unless you've seen this repeated pattern of behaviour in someone a bunch of times already, it's always worth giving someone at least one chance to show how it was a misunderstanding, how you got something wrong, or maybe they have some good reason why they're doing this. Maybe they're trying to help you somehow and it's just not in a way that you agree with. Maybe they've got their own stuff going on, something bad just happened to them and they're venting their anger. Obviously that's them in the wrong, but ideally we want to have some compassion for people in general. So it's good to assume if someone's doing something bad, first of all see how it could be a misunderstanding, then we can assume to some extent that they must have something bad going on with them. If it keeps happening, then we can start defending ourselves. But that's a topic for another video. I'm going to go through how to deal with conflict later down the line. So yeah, try to train yourself to not immediately send negative emotions back at people and respond in a way where you're purposely trying to cause them negative emotions. Whether that's by being passive aggressive, bitchy, directly aggressive, violent even, I hope not. Just try to train yourself to have that one part where you say stop for a moment, what's going on, and you try to reason with people instead. Point two, choose the right time to deliver bad news. So if you've got some bad news for someone, something's happened that you need to tell them about, or you want to confront them about something they did earlier that made you feel bad, something like that, bear in mind if they're already in a bad mood, then you're more likely to make things escalate and you're going to do several times the damage to them, emotions-wise, by delivering bad news or some kind of confrontation that you need to deal with if they're already in a bad mood. If they're already angry, then it makes it way more likely that it's going to escalate into a full-blown argument and your relationship is going to be damaged way more than it could have been. So sometimes people find it hard to wait. I've been like that in the past and they just want to deal with it right now. We could argue that's a bit selfish, definitely. So yeah, if they're clearly upset or something, choose a good time to deliver this news to them. I think also if you pick a time when they're really having a good time, that's also bad. I think the optimum point to deliver bad news to someone, if you don't intend to harm them, is when they're just in like a normal state, especially not when they're bad, in a bad way of their emotions, especially not when they're having the most amazing fun time ever and you just tell them that they bothered you when they stole your Pokemon cards back in school. Number 3, keep emotions controlled even if you need to sound like they aren't. So talking of school, if you're a teacher in a school with teenagers, then that's a time where you might need to express some like strict anger or something towards the pupils if they're in a school where everyone's messing around, which was my class at school. Luckily I ended up using lots of my messing around in a practical way to help people in the end. So yeah, if you're in a situation, maybe you're a drill sergeant in the army or something like that, if you need to sound like you're pissed off or something like that, try to still keep your emotions calm on the inside. It's possible for me to yell at the camera right now. I'm not going to. Don't worry, don't run away. But it's possible for me to do that and look angry without being angry. So if you need to do that, usually for some kind of job, this is necessary. But yeah, if you're actually generating negative emotions to do that, then you're attacking yourself, and then you're, after the event where you needed to be strict for a second or whatever, you're going to have negative emotions now, so you're more likely to then respond negatively to people around you. And people pick up on this through subtle cues as well. Voice tone, body language, energy, if you believe in energy, pheromones, if that's a thing for you, for the smelly people out there. Number 4, look for humour if things are negative. So you just had a situation where something awkward occurred, people just had an argument, something like that. Looking for jokes is a good way to get out of that. As always with social situations, if you can store something in your mind for later in the situation, so one conversation technique for not running out of things to say, which I'm making a video course on very soon, being released by the way, next week, is if you're in a conversation about whatever topic, bananas, and then you think of something that you can say next, like the economics of bananas or something, you can wait until that topic is finished to then introduce the topic that you've banked for later, and you're less likely to run out of things to say. So a similar thing here, if there's a confrontation of some kind or something's negative's going on, someone's upset, you think of a joke, it might be inappropriate to say it at that time, but you can store it there, and if it's still relevant once you get to the point where it's more okay to present the joke, then you can use it to bounce out of the situation and to make things positive from a negative environment. Humour is a super powerful tool in loads of different ways, and one of the ways is it can lift people out of scenarios where there's a lot of negative emotions and lift them back up quickly. Number 5, control body language. So obviously your mood impacts your body language, but your body language also impacts your mood. One thing I've found, this also is good if you're on your own even, and something upsets you, or you're feeling really down, just sit up really straight, or stand up really straight, and lift your chin up above sort of this equator, this like horizontal line here. Lift it up past that, and it makes a very big impact on your emotions. So other things we can do, we're not going to go loads into body language, but open up your body. If you have more open body language, then it puts you in a more sociable state, and it makes you come across more sociable to other people who will then engage with you more positively, and everything escalates. It's usually snowballs in either direction with body language. It's going to get worse and worse, or it's going to get better and better. So there is some level of fake it till you make it. Facial expression, try to smile a bit. Obviously that's not always possible if you're feeling bad, but I found posture actually is the main one. If you stand or sit really straight, then it affects your emotions massively. I've had trouble with posture in the past from doing so much martial arts. You have to crouch for boxing, etc. So that's something I've been working on, and I found that it's made a massive difference to my emotions. Why does this bother me? So I used X there for the algebra people out there, the maths types, etc. So anytime something bothers you, this is a really good thing for long-term growth, etc., for yourself, for your emotional well-being, for your emotional maturity especially. When something bothers you, you think, why did it bother me? Or maybe at the time you might need to react to something, but just try and remember later to think back and think, why did that bother me? And a lot of the time you end up realising that you were being selfish or unreasonable, or it doesn't need to bother you, or something like that. And over time you will encounter similar situations and you won't freak out or suddenly go mental or like blow up someone's house or something. I hope no one's done that here, unless you're an explosives expert and no one was in the house or something like that. So this is 6 ways to, or 6 points around actual events of the social variety. So my series on managing emotions will continue. I'm hoping to make 1 video a day now, so I'm just checking this one's alright, so it's got a nice new microphone, for those of you that said the sound wasn't that good last time. Yeah, I'd recommend making notes and implementing these. Stay tuned.